Hi guys, my name's Seb Tudor, I'm the man on the Silver Mountain, and welcome back. Now today I want to do the video that I mentioned earlier in the week in regards to untrustworthy people. And we've got another 5 of these to kind of contrast the 5 that we had, 5 traits that we had for trustworthy people. And it's these are decidedly kind of different from the ones that we had for trustworthy people, as a lot of these are kind of much more self-facing in regards to the person being untrustworthy. A lot of the other stuff was, oh, we can observe this in the world around them. Here we can observe it, but also a lot of the time it's observing them in isolation doing this stuff to themselves rather than otherwise. So, it's something that we'll go through as we touch on each of these things. Now, the first one is that people who are untrustworthy also tend to lie to themselves. Like, one of the big hallmarks of being an untrustworthy person is that they will lie to others, or that they will share secrets and things that they essentially lying to the person when they said that they would keep it a secret. And yet they will lie to themselves. They will always see more positivity in themselves. So they will describe themselves as a person who is friendly and caring and all of those other positive traits that they think people want them to be. But then they'll go, oh, well, I've described myself as that, so fair enough. But then they'll be angry, arrogant, disruptive, kind of disconnecting from certain people over nothing. They're not there to be kind or anything else in terms of their actions. They pay lip service to their own kind of monument, as it were, suggesting that they are much better or much more of the things that people think that they think people want to see than they actually are, and they'll believe it. This is the one of the problems with stuff like this. It's that whole self-suggestion thing, which it'll get into their own head, and then as a result of getting into their own head, it becomes something that they get very, very attached to, which then means that if you challenge it or if you tackle them on it and prove them wrong, then they're going to lash out at you. There's going to be all kinds of other stuff going on, and let's step on to number 2 with this one. Number 2 being that they tend to project, and they will project things on you which tend to be negative behaviors that they are feeling, or negative feelings that they are having, or negative behaviors that they are doing, and they'll project them onto you even though it's completely counter to what you're doing. So for instance, you could literally pull them on example from me in my life. At one point there was a person who was very untrustworthy and who was disruptive in the workplace. I thought this person had a lot of potential, and they thought they could do quite well, and so I took them to one side, sat them down and had a conversation with them. They accused me of wanting to sabotage them, and how I just wanted them gone and all the rest of it. And it's like, I've literally pulled you in here with a training folder to give you the information that you would need to settle in better, to do better, to get promoted, everything that you would want. I'm literally offering my services to help you achieve that, and you're suggesting that you want me gone. Kind of, that kind of projection, that kind of, they know what they're doing, and they know that if they were in my situation, they'd want themselves, gone. And so they're projecting that on me rather than taking account of what's being said. Why? Because that negativity is being kind of thrown at them, and it's something that they've lied to themselves about for so long that they don't believe it. It's an attack on them. It's not objective, it's not reasonable, it doesn't have anything that they care about. It's just, no, this is terrible, it's wrong, it has to go away. Number 3 is that obviously they breach confidentiality. It's something the is the kind of hallmark of an untrustworthy person, someone who lies, someone who will share secrets. And it's one of these things that, like, yes, sometimes you have people who are, if you don't want me to tell other people, then you need to be very specific with me that I shouldn't tell other people. And it's like, well, if you actually think about it, you've got your business, and then just because you're aware of someone else's business doesn't mean that it's for you to say. But there is at least that level of deniability where you go, okay, yeah, no, I didn't tell you that it was something to keep to yourself. Fine, you're still making sure that I probably shouldn't tell you anything in the future. But okay, I wasn't super specific about the fact that that wasn't something to be passed on and told. But also, one of the things that stands out about people who are untrustworthy is that they will potentially then, when you tell them that something is a secret, they'll take it as an insult. You know, they will want to share this information, and you've just limited them. How could you? You know, oh, of course I won't tell anyone. Are you calling me untrustworthy? Um, well, yeah, I am. Because now you're arguing the fact of whether or not me just making sure that you were happy keeping this to yourself. You're now arguing that as a suggestion that I'm insulting you. Maybe a little too sensitive. Again, that level of projection and other things going on. And it's like, look, every now and again, someone is going to slip up and say something that they shouldn't say. And it's just a problem with interactions and not being able to read each other's minds. But someone that does it again and again and again and again and again and again without any kind of pause, reprieve, or anything like that, even if they get called on it, told off, complained about, whatever, those are people who are to be scrutinized and are usually found to be untrustworthy and incapable of keeping things to themselves. There are some people who are just naturally kind of void up here, and so they forget until it's too late. But there are a lot of people, again, in the job that I have talked about earlier this week, where it was a huge rumor mill. Yeah, there were a couple of people there who were very untrustworthy with the way that they dealt with people's information. And as a result, though, you had people who would just straight up lie and say people had said stuff or done stuff that they hadn't done. Or you'd have the people who hear little fragments of information or who did actually get told stuff in confidence and then would just throw it out to the world and try and, you know, they would pass it out through two or three other people to try and make sure it didn't get back to them. But it would be what they would do, and after a while, it became fairly obvious who it was and stuff like that. And so, you know, but then once they started getting cut out because no one wanted to talk to them because they knew that their business would be all the way across the workplace within a day or so, those people started getting bored. They started getting upset and angry and acting out, and they ended up leaving. You know, it becomes this almost addictive thing for them in many instances. But again, it highlights them as being untrustworthy. The next thing is leading on from that. They tend to be incredibly inconsistent, and they tend to be kind of emotionally explosive or volatile, where they'll change from being really, really happy and wanting to listen and care to then, as soon as you say no, I can't tell you, it's something that's just for me, or oh, I need you to make sure that you don't tell anyone else about this, their mood will flip and change, and they will be incredibly negative, and they'll continue to drive stuff forward. And if you've got someone whose emotional state fluctuates very quickly, like very, very fast between being completely happy and incredibly insulted, and especially when there's no reason for it, if everything that's been said has been completely neutral, like now that I've told you, please don't tell anyone else. Simple, easy request. Might have a lot of weight to that request, depending on what's been said, but it's a simple, easy request to kind of follow along with and not be insulted by. And yet, a person like this will flip. They will be explosive, they will be negative, they will be inconsistent because they'll flip back and forwards between these various emotional states. And also, when it comes to their decisions, they won't make decisions very pointedly, and they'll feel that they can change their mind about what they've said they'll do after the fact. And then the last thing, number 5, is that the way that people get away with this is that they tend to show a very low degree of empathy for others. They're able to not just live with the fact that they're being untrustworthy and being a negative influence on other people's lives, but they will tend to find ways to rationalize. And I'm not saying that there'll be logical or fact-based ways to rationalize, but they will be ways to rationalize their untrustworthy behavior, diminishing in their minds the inconvenience, the damage and the pain that they cause other people. Again, it's that kind of, oh well, you didn't tell me it was a secret, even though it was a really important conversation that you sat me down and said, oh well, I really need to talk to you about this and it's very important, and no one else knows, and I couldn't read between those lines. You had to tell me specifically it was a secret. After all, you've only said X, Y, and Z, and so that means that, even if it's now caused you huge problems and it's very hurtful to you that it's got out there, you didn't tell me not to tell people. And so they rationalize that away in their own little bubble as it being your fault, not theirs, even if it was very, very obvious to most people that it was a private conversation that should have been kept private. They'll ignore that kind of stuff. They won't read into it. They won't care, and they'll rationalize that stuff away so that they can continue to do whatever the hell they want, because it's all your fault. Those are the kinds of people that are trustworthy. Those are the 5 traits that I've got here. Are there any other traits that you would add that aren't covered by any of these 5 that we've got already? If you do, please drop them down in the comments. But otherwise, thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the video tomorrow. Take care. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video or found it interesting, then please drop us a like, share this video, and subscribe for more. And I'll see you in the video later. Take care.